Today I'm gonna be doing a high handicap fitting. I'm really excited about this one because I actually get to fit my dad. My dad's irons are 18 years old. He hasn't hit anything new in a long time. And what my dad doesn't know is I'm gonna buy him whatever set we fit him into. So let's meet my dad. Hey guys, I wanna welcome my dad to the channel. This is my dad, Bill. Thanks for coming on.
Hi.
You're probably our first fan.
Yeah.
So we're gonna be fitting you for new irons. These are Ping G5s. I fit you for these 18 years ago.
Yeah, about then.
That's hard to believe.
Yeah.
So you haven't hit any new irons, I don't think, probably since these.
No, never.
Okay. How would you describe your golf game? Do you remember what your handicap was when you had one?
I think around 18. Normally I'd shoot in the low 90s, mid 90s.
What was your best round?
My best round, I think I had an 84. So everything was going great that day. The sun was shining, everything working well. But yeah, normally if I get in the high 80s, that would be an excellent round for me. Okay.
I'm excited to see the technology difference between clubs from 2005 and 2024. What we're gonna do is I'm gonna give you your 7-iron. We're gonna get a baseline with your 7-iron to see what type of data we can get with your 7-iron. Then I'm gonna give you new 7-irons and we'll see what the improvement is, and then eventually we're gonna find one iron that you're gonna like best, okay?
Yeah.
So I'll give you your 7-iron. Let's get 10 hits to get a good baseline, and then I'll start giving you new clubs.
Excellent.
Let's do it. Okay, we're ready to start getting hits with your 7-iron. So when you're ready, go ahead.
Okay.
So we'll get, let's aim for 8. I think 8 hits is a decent amount of collection. Sounded good. So far we're getting about 125 carry out of the last one. Is that typical yardage you'd say for a 7-iron?
You know, I play with my eye and I couldn't tell you any yardage.
You don't know how far it goes?
I look at the pin, I go, well, I look at the 150 marker and I go, yeah, I feel like 150 is my 6-iron. This is 15 yards, 7-iron.
Okay, so 135 we're thinking.
I don't have a range book in my pocket. Yeah, with me, you don't have to talk about, well, we're at sea level.
Oh, I should let everyone know. We are at elevation. We're in Calgary. We're about 3,400 feet elevation. Calgary, Alberta, we're using a TrackMan, and we're using a Pro V1X RCT ball.
Yeah, if I was at sea level, these would be 200 yards.
It's the opposite. It goes shorter at sea level. Ooh, that was a good one. So right now, everything's kind of just going to the left. Is that normal?
Yeah.
Your shot shape?
Yeah.
So we'll do just one more with this one. Sounded pretty good. Okay, so I'm gonna go over your averages with you really quick, just so we know what the baseline is for your current G5s. We should let the audience know too how old you are.
I am 65, so retired, and I've had a couple of golf memberships at places, so I try to get out a fair bit, but my knees are acting up, so it's not that easy as it was 15 years ago.
You got the golf cart pass now.
Yeah, I'm getting one for sure.
Okay, so we're looking at these. You are actually relatively consistent. Okay, so these are all the shots that you just hit. I had you hit 8 shots to get a good little baseline. I don't want to tire you out. Typically I would do 10, but we don't want you to really fatigue through the whole fitting. You have a very consistent kind of pull to the left. Do you see that normally in your game?
I find when I'm starting out my round, you know, the first 4 or 5 holes, probably because I'm not rotating like I would to maybe straighten that out.
Okay. But your miss would be left instead of right. You don't really have these big flares to the right. If anything, it's like a pull, right?
Yeah.
So down here, all of our data. So let's talk about shafts, okay? So the shaft that you have in your current Ping is basically an S300, which is like a stock stiff steel shaft. Okay. Since you've aged in the last 18 years, your swing speed might not be as fast as it was when you first got these clubs. So your club head speed was 72 miles an hour, which I would consider to be in the regular stiffness for steel. So when I give you a new club, I'm gonna put a different stiffness of shaft, and we'll see if that might even help you get it closer to the line. So when looking at club fitting, dispersion, a lot of dispersion is dependent on the shaft. So I have a couple shaft options. Once we find a head that you like, then we can play around with shafts and try to tighten everything up, okay? Your spin is relatively low. So for a 7-iron, you wanna see about 1,000x, whatever the club is.
And spin is what? The ball spinning?
Yeah, it's the RPM of literally the ball spinning. So sometimes if you spin way too high, if it goes into the wind, you're gonna lose a ton of distance.
Oh, yeah.
So if it's too low spinning, it might stay really low, it might roll out. So we'll see how that changes with the new heads. Your average carry was 121 and it was rolling out 135.
That sounds right.
So what I'm thinking with those numbers, a 7-iron, you said you're hitting that inside 150. So you want the ball to come in high and sit soft.
Right.
So if your ball is rolling out, and keep in mind too, on this TrackMan, we're on a fairway. So fairway's not as soft as a green,
Right.
but even if you're rolling out 10, 15 yards, it's gonna be tough to get to some pins, right? So we'll see if we can get the launch higher. So the landing angle right now is 37.8 degrees, so we'll see how that changes. This is just our baseline, okay?
If this was my driver, I'd have balls on the right-hand side.
Oh, does the driver go to the right?
Yeah.
Well, maybe we'll do a driver fitting in another video. We'll see how this one performs first. So everything is on the left side, okay? Your furthest one that you hit, typically a
Right.
pull that will be the furthest. So that was 124, and your shortest was 111.
Yeah.
So that's 13 yards difference in your best and your worst, or your furthest and your shortest. So let's see how these new irons compare, and we can always reference these old numbers to see if there's
Right,
improvement.
right.
Okay. What I'm going to give you first is the new Ping. So this is the Ping G430. All the clubs I'm giving you are in the game improvement category. We need a little bit more forgiveness for your game, and we want to get the ball in the air.
Yeah.
So we're going from an 18-year gap between this 7-iron and this 7-iron.
But look how good this one still looks.
Here's the new G430. So let's start hitting that. We'll see what type of numbers we
Is
get.
the back the same?
No, they're different. There's a lot of technology changes.
Wow.
It'll be maybe different materials, new engineering, different weight placements. This has a head toe weight.
Yeah.
The shape will look different. So why don't we get you on the mat and we'll start hitting these.
Okay. Yeah, they feel heavier for sure.
And how about look-wise? Like, do you find that they look really different?
They're shiny.
That was pretty good.
Yeah.
So here's one of the biggest changes I want to tell you about this club versus your club that's 18 years old.
Yeah.
The lofts of the golf club have changed dramatically. The loft of your 7-iron is 35 degrees. The loft of that new Ping is 29 degrees. So that new 7-iron is the same loft of your current 5-iron.
Yeah, yeah.
But they've added a lot of different weight technology to help you still get the ball in the air.
Okay.
So you should be hitting this one significantly further because it's lower lofted. That was a good one. That was a rope. How has this one been feeling so far?
It feels like you're hitting it really solid.
Yeah.
And to me, it just feels like it's a much heavier head. That felt nice.
Okay, we'll do one more. That was a really good one. Ooh, that might have been your best one. That sounded really good. Okay, let's come look at the data
I couldn't
here.
do the twirl though.
You gotta practice it. You gotta put it in your fingers and just spin it one way.
Yeah. I'm better when my putts go in, just sort of waving to the
Wave
crowd.
to the crowd. Okay, come look at this. Okay, let's see what's changed in your carry. So your Ping G5s are 121. Now we're 128. So we've gained 7 yards on average just switching to the new club, right? So club head speed stayed about the same between the two. You're actually swinging your old one faster. So maybe you said because it felt heavy, maybe it's a little harder for you to get through the ball. Ball speed went up, so even though you're not swinging it as fast, it's very close, within 0.1 mile an hour.
Yeah.
Your ball speed went up, so you're actually hitting it harder. And the spin actually came down, so that's not at all what I was looking for. I was hoping your spin to get up. So we lost almost 1,000 RPM in spin. Keep in mind too, the loft, right? I said it's like the loft of your 5-iron. So that would be very close to what I would expect in a 5-iron, but I want the spin to get up.
Yeah, I think when I was hitting, I wasn't trying to really hit it hard.
No, and I wouldn't want you to really hit it hard.
Yeah.
I want you to hit it how you would normally hit a
Yeah.
7-iron. It's not like a long drive
Right.
competition, right? I thought that you might have been hitting it higher. So we did
Yeah,
get
which one am I looking at?
so
here?
landing
Oh,
angle here. So landing angle went from 37 degrees to 39. So it's coming in softer. Let's
Yeah.
look at dispersion here. You are still favoring that left side. So actually very comparable dispersions to what you had before, right?
Right.
I would say you are just slightly closer to center, but you are still on that pull side.
Yeah.
Couple things that we could do for you if you favor the left side for all of these clubs, we could actually bend the
So you wouldn't correct my swing.
well, you could
I got a 40-year-old swing.
you could definitely work on the swing, but we can adjust the lie angle. So we
Okay.
could actually bend these
Oh,
clubs
okay.
flat.
So instead of me aiming more to the right,
Exactly. You could have the same swing, and if we were
Right.
to bend them flat, in theory, it should get it closer to the
because
center.
I feel like I'm lining up perpendicular. And
Yeah, no, your swing does look really good. We'll see if any get closer to the center. I got the brand new QI Game Improvement Club, so why don't we hit TaylorMade?
Oh, okay.
Okay.
Now this one feels lighter.
Does it? Okay.
Where's my original club? Just to lay them side by side there.
Yeah, so the new ones.
Oh yeah,
the new ones will be long.
Yeah, it does feel more like a 5-iron that I'm hitting.
Yeah, so this is the new TaylorMade. This is a brand new club. It just launched. Of the irons that I have, it's kind of like a funny shoulder season for irons. So some just came out like this TaylorMade. Some came out last year, just depending on the iron cycle. So all of these clubs are still relevant, but this is one of the newest clubs on the market.
Interesting. So it's not as carved out as the other ones.
No, so they would call this like a hollow body or semi-hollow body construction. So this is a club that should be incredibly forgiving.
First one to the right.
Those last two are a lot closer to the line. Those are really good.
Yeah. So it's not me.
That was a good one. Nice and high. How do these feel so far compared to the pings that you just hit?
The head here feels lighter.
Okay.
The other one felt like an anchor.
Right.
You know.
Yeah, so those pings have a toe weight in them, so that's probably what you're feeling. Sounds good.
Yeah. It feels good off the club for sure.
Good. So this 7-iron's 28 degrees. The previous one was 29 degrees, so really only 1 degree in difference between that and the ping. My favorite golf story of you is you had a hole-in-one, right?
Yes, I have one hole-in-one.
And it was a long hole. It's like one of the toughest holes at our course.
Yeah, and it was not a big arc by any means, but I saw it, and then, you know, the green, undulating green, and it disappeared, and my golfing partner Roy and I walked up there, and it's like, did that go in the hole? Did that go in the hole? And it was in the hole.
But the best part of the story is most people would save that golf ball. What did you do with that golf ball?
Just teed it up on the next hole, and then I hit a tree. And then it went somewhere, and I never found it.
Do you like the look of this? Like, do you like looking down at it?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, okay.
I mean, they're not colorful by any means. I mean, it's steel.
Yeah, for irons, the majority of them are that kind of steel, brush steel.
Yeah.
You can get some that are like black or matte.
I think with your drivers, there's more creativity and colors and style.
Yeah, that's fair.
I feel like I'm hitting these quite consistent.
I would say so. They look really good.
I like this one.
So you had a really good session.
Yeah.
With those TaylorMades. I remember you saying that sometimes once you get warm, you get them going a little straighter too. So
yeah.
We'll keep that in consideration. But if I just go to your dispersion, so the center line, see where it says 140?
Yeah.
This is like center. So if this was a pin at the 140 line, you know, you had one right close to the line, where on the other one, you were further away, and with your ping, the current one, you actually weren't even really close. Right? So from a dispersion standpoint, look how consistent those were. So you had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, all within a couple yards of each other. You had one kind of big miss hit. I probably could have deleted that one, but that'll happen. So to check the forgiveness, it still went on your line, right?
Yeah.
You're going to be chipping.
Yeah, I could tell swinging this and making contact, it felt pretty good.
So you were actually carrying the pings further by 2 yards.
What's 2 yards?
So carry down here 128.
Yeah.
So the ping was 128, TaylorMade's 126. But you were getting greater total distance. It was going 143 total. Again, we're in the fairway. We're not in a green, so take that with a grain of salt.
Yeah.
Ball speed was really close. You were still hitting the ping harder. You're very consistent with your club head speed, so that's pretty good. Actually, you were swinging the TaylorMade faster. We got over 1 mile an hour faster with the same swing with the TaylorMade.
And where's that arc? Which one's that?
So the land angle. So the TaylorMade, you were actually hitting lower. Ping, you were hitting higher.
Oh.
So I think what we could do, like between the two, they're very close, right?
Yeah.
Data, I would say, makes up, I like to think 80% of you deciding on a club. Because you got to like how it looks, how it sounds, how it feels.
Right.
The data, we can tweak it. It's only difference within 1 or 2 yards. We can still change the shaft, we can change the lie angle. So far between the Ping and the TaylorMade, which do you think felt best?
The TaylorMade.
TaylorMade felt better. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. And I think, you know, my golf game, like everyone else's, that 100 yards and in, you know, there's half your score more than half your score, right?
That's true.
But it'd be nice to have a green in regulation because I feel my putting's pretty good.
Okay, Dad, so between the Ping and the Taylormade, you said so far you like the Taylormade feel better. I want to see what type of numbers we can get with a graphite shaft. So I have the steel data. Let's hit this with the graphite and see if we can get that spin up.
Okay.
Spin went way up already. Pretty fast ball speed. I don't think we've gotten 100 out of them yet.
And I feel it was too fast.
Do you feel a difference at all swinging the steel and now graphite?
This seems to come through faster,
Okay.
but I'm trying to not swing very fast to keep it in control.
That was a good one. That was crushed. Okay, I'm gonna stop you there. If we could recreate that last swing every time.
Yeah, that really straight one down the middle.
So I think this is a really good example of what that club is capable of with that graphite shaft. So that was so close to the line, straight down the middle, really well controlled. And this one was your closest to the line. So you are still favoring that pull side, right? We have a pretty big dispersion gap. So this one you hit right on the screws. This was your first one, ball speed, 103, which is the fastest. Carried 156, but then your shortest miss hit was like 107. So like almost 50 yards difference between the best and the worst. And that'll happen on the golf course.
And I certainly felt that miss hit.
But what I'm looking at again is the spin.
Yeah.
So your spin rate on average with this one is still relatively low, 4,800 versus 45. So the spin went up. So I think for now what I want to do is I'm going to keep the graphite shafts in the new irons moving forward.
Right.
And then if we find the head that we like, we can still play around with some shaft options.
This head is the same as what we shot before?
Exactly, yeah. We just changed the shaft.
Right. Yeah.
So the next club I'm going to give you is Cobra. So let me build a Cobra for you.
Okay. How many different club brands are there?
There's a handful. I think I have 6 or 7 here for you. So yeah, this is Cobra. This is the Forged Tec X. This is the newest one for the Cobra that just came out is the Dark Speed. We just don't have it here yet at Modern Golf, but this is still a relevant club. So technically it is a lower launch head, which isn't necessarily what I want for you, but the graphite shaft might bring it up. So I'm really just interested to see kind of the results we get from this one.
Well, we'll see if it's lower.
It was a good one, nice and straight, 6,200 spin. That was really good. Do you notice any big differences looking at this Cobra versus the previous two? You'd have to look at them side by side.
I'd have to lay it out there.
There's nothing obvious that...
No. Wow.
This one, it just doesn't feel like we're carrying it as far out of the gate.
Because I feel like I'm hitting that pretty solid. And
oh, you are hitting those great. And that was like a nice high cut. We haven't seen much of a cut out of you yet.
Well, it's not like I was trying it.
There you go. Painted the line again. We're getting straighter. Getting tired?
Yeah.
It is a workout. Let's see what we can find out of these numbers.
Interesting.
I love looking at these tracers, right? So we can see where we started with your Ping.
Right.
Consistent, but left, right?
Yeah.
The G430 got it closer to the center. Taylormade was actually really good, and that was with the steel shaft. Then we tried the graphite shaft. This was your first time trying the graphite shaft, so the dispersion wasn't as good, right?
Yeah.
You had 2 that get away from you, but those other ones were pretty darn tight, right? Like I really like those. Cobra, now we're getting some even to the right half of the fairway. Isn't that cool to see just same swing, same bay, stuff's changing, right? So what am I looking at here? Spin is what we're looking at, 5,300.
So that's really high.
Yeah, spins come up. So far you're actually getting the most spin. Actually, you got the most spin out of your 18-year-old club. How funny is that?
They knew how to make them back then.
Okay, well, let's look at the carry difference, right? So if the Ping was spinning the highest, Cobra, you got 2 yards of carry more. Distance was actually the same. How sad is that a club 18 years old is actually, numbers-wise, I was expecting drastic improvements. And they're actually, like, it's hard to say they're pretty close. So one of the biggest reasons why your Ping G5 is spinning actually the highest is because of the loft difference. It was much higher lofted. So to get the spin with the new lofts, the Cobra was actually spinning the best so far, right? The landing angle was 40, so you're getting it higher, so it's landing softer. Did you like kind of the session that you had with the Cobra?
Yeah. I thought hitting the Taylormades, I felt the best.
They felt the best off the face?
Yeah, but if this was a blind taste test,
Right.
and I didn't know Taylormade Cobra.
Well, I know that you still like Taylormade, so we can come back to Taylormade, but look at this dispersion. I love the dispersion kind of on a even plane.
Yeah,
see how it's like
right.
straight horizontal?
Right. as
Where
opposed
when
to
we
the
first
other.
put the graphite shaft in, there was a big, let's say we got rid of these two, the
Yeah.
best and the worst. We're still
Yeah.
kind of favoring that left side, which looks a lot like this one, right? Looks
Yeah.
very similar to that.
Yeah.
But we want a tighter circle. So you've had the best dispersion so far
Huh.
with that Cobra.
Yeah.
That was pretty cool. Let's go into a new club. Let's build you, what am I gonna build you? How about Titleist? Let's go Titleist.
So if I was on a par 3 and I had it teed up a little bit, would that change all the data?
Yeah, it could. You're gonna hit it higher on the club face, maybe a little closer to the sweet spot, but you'll probably hit more 7-irons from the fairway than you would teed up.
Yeah.
So this one that I gave you is the Titleist T350. It's very similar characteristics as all the previous one. It's just kind of like the Titleist comparable. That was a good one.
Yeah. Certainly sounded nice.
Have there been any clubs that you hit that didn't feel great?
No. No, the early one there was heavier, it felt
Ping,
like.
yeah, the Ping was heavy. You didn't like the heavy.
And with this shaft, I feel like I'm coming through faster.
Right, okay. Another good one.
That's a sweet sound, though. That felt nice.
Do you like the look of these ones?
Yeah. They feel like Harry Potter's wand.
I like the sound of these so far.
Yeah, they sound like
They sound
they're
really
really,
good. Really, really good.
Hitting them good. Oh,
Remember the other day we were talking about divots, and you're
Yeah.
asking about divot pattern, should it be behind or in front of the ball?
right.
So the divot should always be in front of the ball.
Yeah.
Which means we want to hit the ball first. So what I've noticed in your session so far is that your miss hits, we're hitting the ground first and
Yeah.
then the ball. So something to even think of, a couple ways that you can do it. You can try a little bit more forward press, so you're getting
Okay.
your hands through the ball faster.
Yeah.
Or just you're trying to just hit that ball first, and you're actually the trajectory is you're actually hitting down on the ball. I know we want to scoop it in the air, but
Right.
you'll get better height if you hit down on the ball.
Yeah, okay. Okay, my normal alignment would be like that.
Yeah, so I would go like that. I would do just a slight little forward press
Okay.
and just try hitting kind of down on the back of that golf ball.
It's almost like a trap.
Yeah, no, it'll take one or two to get used to it. I just noticed that your miss is that kind of chunk behind it.
Yeah.
And there's actually a club, it's the Srixon, that has a sole that's actually built to help that.
I hit that one good.
Yeah, that was really good. Love that. That was one of the highest ones you've hit.
Yeah, that's with my hand forward a little bit.
Okay. Perfect. That was a really good one. Okay, we'll end you there on the Titleist.
Oh, that is tiring though.
Getting tired, I know. Tell me about it. That Titleist was really good. You had a really good session.
So that's the Titleist there?
This is Titleist here. So we're 5,000 spin, which is down from the Cobra, up from the Taylormade. Your carry was 130, which was 7 yards on the Cobra. Not as far as the Taylormade. Let's look at the land angle. 40 degrees. What I noticed with the Titleist is you had your best smash factor. So I can tell just from the sound that some
what was
are
that
making.
one?
The Ping.
Yeah.
Ping was
128.
128, 132. You know, when I'm looking at the disperse or like the
Yeah,
tracers,
yeah.
the best one that I like so far is actually that Taylormade with the steel shaft.
Yeah, yeah.
But the spin was down, so I just really think that that's going to hurt you on the golf course. Where when we put that,
And because why?
couple
'Cause
reasons.
It's not going to go as high.
Yeah, it won't stay in the air as long.
Right.
So when you're inside that 150, if
Right.
you hit the front of the green, it could roll all the way to the back. And if you have a lot of these 7-irons coming into greens, we want to get it just a little bit higher.
Right.
Right. I'm really curious what the Srixon's going to do because it has a different sole that's going to help you out with kind of those chunks behind it. It might help just get through the ball. So let me build a Srixon
So what would a pro be
for land
for landing angle?
So PGA Tour Pro would be at like 45 to 50 degree land angle. So we're not, obviously not a PGA Tour golfer, but we want to get that land angle
Yeah,
up just to land soft. So I have high hopes for this club. This is the Srixon ZX4. It has a way different sole than all the other clubs that we've hit. The majority of the soles that you've hit are soft and rounded, and I find that you're just hitting behind the ball has been your miss. This has almost like a V sole, so it should help with your turf interaction, just getting through the ball a bit better.
Okay. And graphite.
Yeah, same shaft that we've
same
already
shaft.
been hitting. Yep.
Got it.
That was nice. Good start.
So straight, I can't see the end of it.
That was nice.
Yeah, you can certainly hear the difference.
Do you like looking at this one?
Yep. They certainly look new.
Oh, yeah. You hit that one hard.
Yeah, and it's that little press forward.
Yeah, you hit that one really good.
They do it on their putting sometimes too, and
Yeah.
I don't.
Yeah, a lot of forward presses, for sure. Really good. Look at that. Nice high cut.
You know.
Really good. What did you think of that club?
Good, good. Yeah, I like it.
Felt good? Sounded
It feels, and maybe this is more the shaft, you know, it feels light coming through,
Right.
like it's whipping through the air.
And do you like that feel?
And it feels, and it feels like this isn't overly heavy.
Right.
This actually feels light like the shaft.
Okay. Could you feel that turf interaction? Did it feel any different than maybe some other ones?
Well, that's hard to say.
Because you didn't chunk many.
No. And I find that these ones here, I am altering just a hair, that hand position.
Right. It's up for interpretation, really. That one was actually really good. It was
Yeah.
a really good session with the Srixon. Just again, like low spin.
Also, sometimes when you get the spin, but the key point is looking at the roll light too, right? If you're getting like for a 7-iron, I'm always looking at like 12 yards and under is good, you know what I mean?
Right. So yeah, like the Cobra, this was his tightest dispersion, but you know, he wasn't hitting it far at all. 12 yards difference in carry between that and the Srixon.
I think this one that I just hit last was the best feel for me.
It's pretty good, even with that outlining one way to the right. That would even probably have.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, it's not that much further.
Cobra
than
had the best dispersion by far. Right. Titleist, Srixon, Cobra. What do you think looking at these, Jer?
That's pretty tight right
Yeah.
there.
That's super tight.
Yeah.
If you're hitting greens, and then guess what? You're getting used to it. The other ones are hard, and then there's nothing worse when all of a sudden you're getting these flyers. It's jumping 20 yards shorter. That's pretty good there.
Both of the red ones, I think, are, so Srixon. This was our last session.
Yeah.
And then the Taylor were shorter.
And Taylormade. This is when we put the new shaft in.
Cobra is good. The red one is,
Yeah.
it's like anything, what the person's looking for, right? When you get used to a club, that distance and that confidence gains.
Right.
If you're all over the map right away, it's like, well, I'm hitting it farther, but I'm hitting it farther into the woods or
Right.
missing the green by 20 yards. Whereas the other one, you're like, hey, you know what? Maybe I have to club up one club just to start to get used to it, but I'm dead straight every time.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. And this is, let's say if it's a 140 on that Cobra, that seems like what I would think of for a 7.
So it is still technically longer than your pings.
Can you just, on the screen, can you turn off everything else except the G5s and the Cobras?
Yeah, so the Cobra was just a lot straighter to the line.
Yeah,
Right?
yeah.
But why don't we throw the Srixon in there? Because you said you really like that Srixon. So let's get rid of the pings. So now Srixon, you got a
Right.
ton more distance.
Yes.
Right?
Interesting.
And you were still pretty consistent. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, all within the same. And you had 2 that you pulled that just kind of got away from
So
you.
it's about 20 more yards.
I mean, I think it's hard to argue distance. Like, I think everyone would want more distance, right? So if you're hitting a 7-iron here versus a 5-iron here.
Well, that's why they give you so many clubs, though.
Yeah, fair enough. So you think between those two, the Srixon and the Cobra,
Right.
which do you think you'd prefer?
Yeah, the red there. What's the red?
The Srixon. And the Srixon does we just hit. And
Right.
that helped with your turn
Yeah, that
interaction.
was this one here. Yeah. Yeah.
Titleist you had a good session with. So Titleist is actually a pretty happy medium between
Yeah.
the two, right?
Yeah.
But Srixon, you had a very similar dispersion gap as the Titleist, but you're going further.
Yeah.
Which means I would lean more towards
Right.
the Srixon.
Right. So in my mind, it would come down to cost.
To price, right? So we haven't gone over price yet, so why don't we consider that? There's one more club that I want you to hit, which is the Mizuno. Are you okay to hit
okay.
one more
Yeah,
club?
yeah.
Okay, let's try one more. Okay, so this one is a Mizuno JPX 923 high launch. So some of these club heads do come in a high launch. Unfortunately, just at shoulder season, a lot of the club reps took back either their heads or the shafts, so we're kind of just stiff arm for the options that I can give you. But this is one high launch head. So I'm interested to see how you hit this. It's the same game improvement category as all the other clubs, but in theory, if it being a high launch head, we should be able to get the ball up a little higher, which is, I think, good for your game.
All right.
Okay, let's see how you hit these. You definitely get this one in the air.
Yeah, it seems higher than anything.
Yeah. Really good. How do these feel?
Very sweet.
Nice. The spin is up, the launch angle's up. So that one there was 3.5 feet off the center line, which means you'd have a birdie putt inside 5 feet.
Yeah, I feel like I'm hitting these consistent.
Yeah, you are, and your smash factor's way up. That's 8. So let's take a look at these.
Yeah.
That was pretty good.
Yeah.
That was awesome. That was so tight. That was the tightest session you've had yet. So looking at the dispersion, right? I think no question that was by far your tightest dispersion, but amongst everything, right? The Taylormade actually still did pretty good.
Yeah, that was pretty good though.
And that was with the steel shaft. I think what we'll do, because you really like that Taylormade, right? So I think we can actually come back to that, maybe do a couple more hits. But this Mizuno was awesome. Let's look at our dispersion. Look at that
Yeah, that's
grouping,
pretty tight.
right? That was an awesome grouping.
That's 10 yards, so that's only 20 yards.
Yeah, we want a
wide.
smaller circle, right? So we're tighter than we were, much tighter than Srixon, right? And you're getting tired too, like you're starting to get some fatigue.
Yeah.
But let's look at carry. We're carrying 123 versus 138. You were crushing the Srixons. The Srixons were going so much further. Cobra, you were really close in distance with the Cobra. So I'd say from a dispersion standpoint, these two are the best. Your landing angle was 41 degrees. So it's coming in higher and softer than the Srixon was.
Right.
But it's just the distance is the thing that we're gonna have to figure out if you want tighter dispersion, but it doesn't go as far,
Right.
or do you want maybe a bigger variance in your dispersion, but it's capable of going further?
Yeah. No, I'm thinking 7-iron is 135 to 140, and that's what I'm looking at here.
Perfect. So that dispersion versus the Ping where you started, right, is already a lot.
Right. So the distance was about the same, just way to the left. So you would assume that all irons from this brand would have the same tight grouping?
It's hard to say. You know what? In the tests that I've done and all the product reviews that I've done, Mizuno ranks near the top of the list.
Do they give you a 3-iron? Did they start at 3?
You could get a 3-iron. I think for your game, you'd be better off hitting a hybrid.
Yeah, right.
I think you'd have a lot more consistency with a hybrid.
So I'd be curious, down the road. So what's the difference between clubs? 15 yards?
Typically about that. It's tough in these fitting facilities because they only give you a 7-iron. So the distance gapping
Right.
should be roughly 15 yards, 10 yards.
So we'd go to
difference.
the course and
Yeah, so like what
break that down.
I think what you would do for your bag is maybe go up to a 6-iron or 5. But do you hit your 5-iron a lot?
Oh yeah, all the
Oh,
time.
you hit it a lot? Okay.
Yeah.
It'd be interesting to see what difference you could get out of hybrids.
Right.
I personally love hybrids. Like I even stopped hitting a 4-iron
Right,
where I hit a
right,
5 hybrid and a 2 hybrid.
Right. So those could be different brands as well.
Exactly, yeah, they could be. They'd be for different video.
Yeah.
How would you rank the club so far? What's top of the list in your mind right now?
Yeah, the Titleist one and this one.
Titleist.
Or sorry, the Taylormade.
Taylormade and Mizuno are the top of the
That
list.
Taylormade.
Well, why don't we hit the Taylormade
Was it
again?
that
Because
one there? Yeah.
the Taylormade you hit first when we put the new graphite
okay.
shaft in it. So why don't we hit it just one more time?
Right.
Just so we can look between
This
the two.
one was very good, but yeah, let's just
Let's
switch
hit the
that up
Taylormade again. Okay.
and just see if that dispersion is different.
Okay, so let's hit that Taylormade again. You really like the Taylormade, and then the Mizuno's at the top of your list. So let's give that Taylormade another 8 hits and just see if we can improve on where we were when you first switched to the graphite.
Lost my balance.
That was nice.
The whole club feels heavier than the last one, Mizuno one. Now, I've been happy with the my pings every time I play. I always thought, though, they should go further, but, human error.
Just getting behind that ball.
Try this shaft and see.
Okay, so we put the graphite shaft in that you've been hitting a bunch, and you said it just felt a little heavy. So what I did is I put a new graphite shaft in here. This is Ventus, and it's 5 grams lighter. So let's see if that feels any better.
It does just, it's got quite a whip.
Here we go. That was really nice. 6 feet left of the line, high cut, 140 carry. Oh yeah, got a groove now.
Problem with golf is you don't get to shoot 2 in a row.
That was really good. Do you notice the weight difference?
It feels snappier, if that's a word. Yeah, I like this.
Like it. One more. Yeah, you've only hit 100-mile-an-hour ball speed with the Taylormade, which means you're hitting that one the hardest, which in turn should help go the furthest. Wow, 102, that was your fastest yet. Woo! Okay, no more hitting, you're done hitting. Take a break. Okay, so we wanted to hit the Taylormade again, and I gave you the same shaft you've been hitting. You just said it was just starting to feel heavy. So I pulled that shaft out, and I gave you a lighter shaft. I actually went 50 gram, and our dispersion is now awesome, right? Even though you had that pull left earlier with when we just started hitting the QI, remember it was all left over there? You've now gotten warm. Like look at the improvement just on that, and that was just the shaft change.
Right.
So distance-wise, we're up to 138. You liked the Mizuno. Mizuno's 123, so 15-yard carry different, and the dispersion is almost identical.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
How cool is that? Let's look at the tracers. That was your last session with the Taylormade, and then this was the Mizuno. So I guess you could argue the Mizuno is slightly tighter,
But shorter.
but incredibly consistent, but just shorter, right? Let's look at the launch. Launch is within 1 degree of the landing angle, right? The ball speed though, you're hitting this 7 miles an hour faster with the Taylormade. Your club head speed went up 3 miles an hour. Your spin is around, Mizuno was spinning a little bit higher, high launch head, but 52 I'm okay with. Something that I don't have that we could look at in ordering is a high launch shaft. Just with what we have right now in our fit carts, I don't have a high launch shaft, so I think we could even improve that. But knowing that you like graphite, 50 gram, and the Taylormade, are those the clubs that you want to go with?
Sure.
So I told the audience something. Oh, go ahead.
No, I was just going back to the G5s.
Oh yeah, okay. So what did we improve on? So we started 121 carry, and we're finishing at 138 carry. Your dispersion with the Ping was favoring the left side. We put you into a graphite, and you were almost having a cut. See how your shot shape's just a little bit left to right?
Yeah.
We found the fairway, 151 total, 135. So you gained 15 yards from where we started.
Yeah.
We got the dispersion better. So the Ping landing angle was 37 degrees, and we're finishing at 40. So we got more height on the ball. Look at this smash factor too. Smash factor, we started at 126, and now we're up to 131. Peak height was only 55 feet with the Ping, and we got it going higher, further, and straighter with the upgrades.
I knew it wasn't me.
it was the clubs all along. So I know even though losts have changed a lot over the last 18 years, it's not as simple as the 5 iron's going to go as high as this new 7 iron. There's a lot of new tech that's gone involved in this. So this is the club that we're ending up with. This is the Taylormade Qi. Something that I told the audience that I didn't tell you is that I'm going to buy these irons for you.
Is it Father's Day?
It's not. It's not your birthday. You've done so much for me growing up, for years of hockey and golf lessons and golf stuff, that I want to do something nice for you. So these are on the house.
Fantastic. I need a golf cart too.
A golf cart to try to double down. Yeah, you're welcome.
Thanks, Brand. That was sort of grew up watching the 20-minute workout, and this was like the 40-minute workout.
You hit a lot of balls. You hit a lot of balls today.
Yeah.
So what we'll do, we'll put an order in. We'll see what we can do for maybe a higher launch shaft,
Yeah.
and then maybe we'll do a follow-up once you get these new irons ready for golf season.
Beautiful.
Cool. Thanks for you guys for watching. If you haven't subscribed already, smash the subscribe button, and we'll check in with you guys next time. See you later.
And ring that bell.
Ring the bell.